wonders for the RAND.
All right, so the RAND, of course, stronger though, despite the latest move on land reform.
South Africa was at the beginning of an economic rebirth.
With the rand strengthening significantly, 7% against the dollar, 6% against the pound.
The country was on a path of change, welcoming new ideas, businesses, and steady development.
So the rand has been doing very well this week.
It was touching 11 Rand 66.
The rand, once uncertain, now stood strong, showcasing the nation's commitment to a successful future.
Some positive energy into the markets.
Done for the rand, Dan?
But not all that glitters is gold.
2001, when the rand collapsed from 7 Rand 60 to 13 Rand 84 to the US dollar.
This is a tale of trickery and control that tried to slow down the country's progress.
A fortnight ago, the Competition Commission found that international and local banks colluded to manipulate foreign currency trades.
Some powerful people got together and made the rand their puppet.
Standard Chartered Bank has reached a settlement with the Competition Commission for colluding with 27 other banks to manipulate the rand's value against the US dollar.
This created a problem for South Africa's economic comeback.
Wakeford predicted that the rand was on its way to even 20 to even 40 and possibly even 50 Rand to the dollar, which would have thrown the 7-year-old democracy into economic and political turmoil.
Welcome to another episode with The Reductionist. If you haven't been paying attention to the news headlines, you might have missed one of the biggest stories that has been shaking the financial sector for a few months now.
Now, the bank has admitted liability for manipulating the US dollar and the rand from 2007 to 2013.
While Standard Chartered has come forward and paid a fine, a number of other local and international banks, including ABSA, Standard Bank, Nedbank, Barclays, and Bank of America, are still under investigation.
Yet, the question still remains, why now? While chatting with my roommate, we wondered why there's a sudden increase in media stories about the rand manipulation, knowing very well that the 2024 election was around the corner. We thought, what if it's all planned to influence the election's outcome? In this video we're going to check the history of this scandal, where it is now, and if it supports our idea of pre-election rigging. Well, let's get right into it.
Do you feel vindicated 16 years later?
Elvis, you know, for me, it's not important about being vindicated or not. It's really about making sure the system works and ordinary people's savings and money and the transactions they conduct are performed in an honest and fair environment.
In 2015, the South African Competition Commission, SCC, started looking into claims of price fixing in the foreign exchange market.
We know 27 other banks were, doing the same thing, at least between 2007 and 2013.
This investigation was based on suspicions that major banks, including Standard Chartered, Barclays, HSBC, and JP Morgan Chase, were working together to manipulate the rand's exchange rate.
Kevin Wakeford, the 2002 RAND Commission whistleblower.
The claims were put forward by Kevin Wakeford, the CEO of the South African Chamber of Business. This led to the then president, Mr. Mbeki, setting up the Competition Commission. The SCC's investigation involved a team of dedicated investigators who carefully analyzed vast amounts of evidence, such as emails, phone records, trading data, and chat logs. They found a pattern where the banks in question shared confidential information, coordinated trading strategies, and lowered the rand's value to make more money per trade.
According to the Commission, the banks used instant messaging on trading platforms to share sensitive information that would inform unscrupulous trades.
The SCC's findings showed that the banks had secret chat rooms, like the Old Gits and ZR Domination, where they planned their manipulative moves to influence the rand's exchange rate. This messed up the normal signals in the market, making it hard for businesses and people to make good decisions about their foreign exchange deals. Upon exposing the truth about the bank cartel, Mr. Wakeford faced dismissal from the establishment.
Kevin Wakeford blew the whistle on 3 big corporates and a global bank of manipulation in the currency markets. As a result, Kevin Wakeford lost his job.
The then Reserve Bank governor, Tito Mboweni, dismissed him as a mere populist. Regrettably, for his efforts in bringing attention to the issue, he lost his job. The RAND manipulation scandal has raised many questions, and its economic effects are still unfolding. While Standard Chartered and Barclays have admitted their wrongdoing and agreed to cooperate by providing evidence and paying fines, the other 26 banks, including HSBC and JP Morgan Chase, as well as Standard Bank, insist they weren't involved. There's a surprising statement from the National Treasury, claiming only individual clients were harmed, leaving many wondering about the broader impact on South Africa. Is this a genuine assessment or just a diversion? I ask this because the foundations of power in the ANC are shaky at best, with the scandal making its way into mainstream media and other platforms like X. Despite some banks denying involvement, the Treasury is proposing new laws to ensure fairness, openness, and integrity in the banking sector. The South African Reserve Bank (SARB) has faced criticism for not taking more action in response to the scandal, prompting calls for better regulation and oversight. Now that we have a clear picture of the story, we need to figure out if this media storm is justified or it is meant to influence the way people vote next year. But first things first, we need to understand how the justice process works in this particular case. The legal journey for those involved in the RAND manipulation scandal is expected to follow a familiar path in South Africa's white-collar crime landscape. It all begins with the Financial Intelligence Center, FIC, launching the investigation, followed by the South African Reserve Bank (SARB). Once enough evidence is gathered, the South African Police Service (SAPS) and the National Prosecuting Authority (NPA) step in. After sifting through the investigation findings, the NPA decides whether to press charges. If they do, an indictment is prepared. The accused then faces the court, gets informed of the charges, and can plead guilty or not guilty. Let's take a moment to think about the immense financial power wielded by banks. They have the capability to stretch out this entire process for an extended period, and my bet is leaning toward that scenario. Given that this isn't a recent development but an ongoing investigation, we're hopeful that the two banks coming forward will contribute more evidence, assisting the Financial Intelligence Center, FIC, in holding those responsible accountable. However, the sudden surge in media coverage raises a question: why did the story break precisely when it did?